We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Another edition of the Sabir Bey Show.
LA Talk Live.
Applause. On LATalkLive.com. The only place that you get this type of entertainment, or on the Sabir Bey Show, is the edutainment. Yes.
That's right.
Because we entertain and we educate at the same time.
That's what it's about.
Okay. Don't adjust your computer screen. This is the Cosmo Physician, Krysten Littles. I'm filling in for Sabir Bey today.
I thought you looked different today.
He is handling some business. Remember when we had Chico on the show?
I remember.
And he's working on a new show called Ghost Family, and he's possibly bringing Sabir into the show.
Oh, Hollywood.
So, yes.
Hollywood, baby, huh? Okay.
So that's what he's working on today. So
okay.
He's gonna try to make it. We'll see how it goes. But.
Okay. Show must go on.
Say again. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Well, we will hold down the fort till he gets here.
Oh yeah, I was saying he should.
His mic is.
You said forget it.
His mic is not working today. Okay, so in the studio we have co-host Ray Stone, author of Eat Like You Give a Damn.
All right.
The best book. You need to get it if you don't have it already. And we have Alberto over there.
Right, so, what's happening?
And DJ Haze on the ones and twos. His mic still isn't on.
Still nothing.
Technical difficulties.
1 2 1 2.
It's
2 2 2.
Yeah. And of course, Big Rich, the man behind the scenes. You can't see him, but we can't do this thing without him.
Nope.
Right.
He's the man around here. All right. So why did we play Money, Money, Money to start the show off?
Why did we?
Because it's Taurus season. And Taurus season it's not only about money, but it is the sign of money. It is how we provide for ourselves, how we eat, and the easiest way to do that is by buying food,
It helps.
being able to, have something of value to exchange it for something of value. You get what I'm saying?
I like that.
Yeah, so that's why I played the song, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what's going on in the heavens, because that's my specialty. That's what I do. And we just had an eclipse on the 25th. We had a lunar eclipse on the 25th, and a lunar eclipse is always when the sun and the moon are opposite one another. And the moon is actually near the north node, and that's when an eclipse occurs. So when the full moon takes place, it's like the sun looking in the mirror, because it's like the moon represents reflection.
I see.
If you ever known any cancers or people with prominent cancer energy, which is that's the sign that comes under the moon, cancers are very sentimental. They're always reflecting back on things, So, or even Cancer is a water sign, so even if you look into a pond or some water, you can see a reflection. You see something coming back to you. So when we have a full moon, I always think of it as the sun is the ego. So the sun is like in the mirror, looking like, seeing what's going on, and so this eclipse happened between the signs Scorpio and Taurus. Because the sun is in Scorpio. So, the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Scorpio. So those signs are both financial signs. When we talk about Scorpio energy, it is the energy of being able to get a line of credit or loans or money that comes outside of your own efforts. When we talk about the Taurus energy, it's money that we generate on our own efforts, our own energy. So when you have a job and you go to work and you get your paycheck and all, that's the Taurus type of money. Or when you go to a store and you buy whatever items or whatever, that is the Taurus energy. When it's Scorpio energy, it's money that comes from some type of contractual agreement, because the sign right before Scorpio is Libra. And Libra is about partnering up with one another, creating a commitment, and then those are the finances or the possessions that come out of that commitment. So even when you get married or you get in a relationship and you're trying to figure out, well, I have my toaster, and whose toaster are we going to keep, or whose couch are we going to use? It's like you're merging your possessions, your finances, and all that stuff together. So that's what that is. And Scorpio is also the sign of sex, and so they in the biblical sense, it's like you get married and then you have sex. Well, that's just because in the astrological wheel, you have Libra, the sign of marriage, before the sign of sex. It comes in that order. So that's where that
contract and then sex.
Right, exactly. So that's where that concept comes from.
Gotcha.
So Taurus season, things that are highlighted during Taurus season, we're talking about, like I said, finances, the banking system, land, real estate. It's your appetites, not only how you, what you have a taste for, like food wise, but also what you have a taste for, like, oh, I like black, instead of green, or I like leather instead of suede, that type of taste, that type of, it's also the material, Taurus is an earth sign. So the earth signs are very much into the materialistic things that things that make our everyday life, like all the little mundane things of everyday life, instead of like an air sign would be more mental, thinking about things and communication. But the earth signs are more, practical. They're very practical.
Tangible. They want to touch
Exactly.
and feel. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's get it.
So Taurus is the sign of the touch, the sense of touch and the sense of smell and sight, all of the senses. That's why Taurus folks are very touchy-feely,
Okay, makes sense.
And they like the feel of how clothes feel on their body, or how the smell of aromas, how they appeal to their senses and all.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like when you bring food to a Taurus, it has to be visually appealing for them to,
Okay.
really want to eat it. So yeah, so that's another thing that Taurus energy represents.
Is there a color that's associated with Taurus?
Yes. Because Taurus deals with the earth and farming, that bright green, that like grass green,
Okay.
that's a good Taurus color. Or like money green, because it's
green.
money. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The fiat green.
right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't
or
say money. Don't call it.
Yeah.
Or also, any color that if you go to a park or arboretum, or in the great outdoors or forest or something, any of those colors that you see, that the overall color that you see would be Taurus colors, because that is very much a Taurus type of scene.
Gotcha.
So this eclipse that just took place on the 25th, it deals with the two signs, the Taurus and Scorpio energies, and eclipses always represent turning points. So it is a turning point wherever those two energies fall in your chart.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you'll see these turning points taking place, where you have to be more practical about your finances and about your creature comforts and your desires, because Scorpio deals with your desires, whether they're carnal or whether they're, financial or whatever, you really have to get real about it, because Saturn is at play here. So, yeah. And so there was another thing I wanted to say about that. And I'll just do this real quickly. For the Aries and Libra folks, this eclipse, and we're having another. It's 3 eclipses that are throughout this whole season. We have another one on the 9th, and then we have another one on the 23rd, I believe. But the first 2 are in Scorpio and Taurus, so this is the energy that you want to pay attention to. So for the Aries and Libra folks, the financial houses, this falls in your financial house. So everything I just said about, your appetites, your spending habits, all that kind of stuff, this is where it falls in your chart. For the Taurus and Scorpio folks, this deals with your commitments, your relationships, and addressing the finances and the commitments and the contracts and stuff in your relationships.
Okay.
And also, your personal expression, what excites you, what you're enthused about.
Okay.
Also, how you present yourself. You might want to change something about your look, or how you're going about things, how you're approaching things.
Okay.
For the Gemini and Sagittarius folks, this deals with your habits, your addictive behavior patterns, your being able to get some rest and relaxation, and how you're going about your fitness, your health, your diet, your routine, your day-to-day, routine. This also deals with the workplace, dealing with coworkers and grandparents. Those are the 2, the people in your lives that this is going to deal with. The Cancer and Capricorn folks, we're talking about your network, your associates, your friends, your groups of friends that you're dealing with. Some money issues may pop up there. Also, with if you have children, or even a creative venture that you're going about,
Okay.
right through here, you may have some issues with trying to get the finances for that creative venture or the funding behind it. Also, love affairs. this is the house that is highlighted for those folks, love affairs. For
Say Pisces, and I'll get to
I'm getting there. For Leo and Aquarius folks, this deals with your lifestyle and your domestic situation. You know, some attention will be brought to your domestic situation, how you're living, even your family members, especially the nurturing parents side of the family. So maybe your mother or, you know, whoever the nurturing parent is. Sometimes it's the father. Also, your public image, your reputation, you know, your status. And we're going to be talking about the status when Taj calls in. But yeah, your status, you know, just your whole lifestyle, how your lifestyle is set up right now. Also issues with the boss may pop up as well. And then for Virgo and Pisces folks,
right. Here we go.
we are talking about your communication style, you know, how what you're saying, your phone, you know, right, the eclipse took away your phone last week. Yes. We're talking about also schooling, traveling, dealing with, you know, your means of travel, whether it's your car, having issues with your car, or having issues with, you know, buses, however you're traveling, you know, that's being highlighted. So yes, just be careful what you're saying, what you're you know, what you're talking about, being clear and all that.
Okay.
Looks like we have a caller.
We got a caller.
Let's go to the phone.
Caller, welcome to LA.
Caller,
this brother Taj.
Oh, hey, Taj.
I got one bar left, so I'm calling on Seek Nature's phone.
Okay.
And so I got one bar on my phone, so I'll be talking on the other phone while we're traveling because I got to go back to the house, put it on the charger.
Okay.
So I'm talking on this phone.
Okay.
So I'll be on this phone. You got me on this one too?
Yeah, yes. We got you.
Okay.
I'm calling you on another phone too.
Tell me to hang up and call back.
So
you just want to call this phone. You want to call back on the other phone?
Hello?
Yes,
we might have lost him. Okay. Yeah. He can't call back.
All right. Well,
let's just inform the listeners that was Taj Tariq Bay that's calling.
Yes,
in, right?
Our special guest today.
Yes. Master teacher. He teaches a lot about civics and law.
Yes.
And more science. He's a brilliant guy.
And etymology.
Yeah.
He's a wealth, a spring well of information.
Yeah, we want to take advantage. If you want to call in, that number is 323-247-7443. We have another studio guest that might be showing up.
Oh, yes, Daryl Mooney. He's supposed to be sliding through.
Pair of surprises. We're doing it big still.
Yes. Daryl Mooney and the Mooney Twins.
Okay.
All right, let's go to a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have Taj. I want to hear some health tips from Ray. And we'll be right back.
Jack.
Haze, take us out.
Listening to the Sabir Bey Show on LA Talk Live. We'll be right back.
Again we start. Let me say my part about the only guy who has some heart. It took some time for the heart to come, but it's here, and everybody's in fear, crashing through the door of that whore, bringing an end to this gold chain war. What you saw, KRS-One is now seeing another fly human being, making no excuses for the losers, chain snatchers, pimps, drug abusers. You don't like it, but you gotta keep pushing until somebody starts mushing all these suckers claiming to rule the environment.
Nah, man, I ain't buying it.
You seem to think that everybody can be taught, that everyone else can be bought, but you took a short, cause one guy hasn't been paid. He is the jack of spades. He's a calm kind of guy, courageous and loyal, but don't let the temper boil, cause just like a pot when the whistle blows,
that's right, boy, anything goes.
The crime is committed and he's right on your tail. There's no bail, not thinking about jail. All the ends are justified by the means. When Jack's on the scene, track the movement. Don't lose it, cause if he comes from the back, he attacks crack. Cocaine cops that want fame, who all the same in the heat of this gold chain game. Here's the aim, destroy all the stereotypes, heights, and crack pipes. We don't like criminals and crime, but we don't pay it any mind. So here comes Kung Fu Joe and my guy. Slade, hammer, and slammer. I am a renegade teacher and scholar. If you ain't up on it, you gotta fall to the back of the line. Hear this rhyme, cause I'ma say it one more time. It's Jack, theme song the KRS made. It's called the Jack Stage. Again we start. Again we start. Again we start. Let me say my part about the only guy who has some heart. It took some time for the heart to come, but it's here, and everybody's in fear, crashing through the door of that whore, bringing an end to this gold chain war. What you saw, KRS-One is now seeing another fly human being.
And I probably won't leave until the thing ends. But in the meantime and in between time, if you work your thing, then I work mine. We came here together so we can have fun. Me and you, baby, going one-on-one. Now this is the last chance for us to get off. So either get loose or you ought to get lost. Cause I'm just about ready to do my thing. Cause I'm a stone cold New York rap machine. I'ma give you what I got, and baby, that's plenty. And never has one man rock so many. I'ma make you wet and make you sweat, just to see how funky you can get. Now when I'm on the mic, I do serve well, and I go by the name of the rapper Job.
Welcome back.
Yes.
we're still here, and we hope you are still there.
Yes.
And if you're just tuning in, we are the Sabir Bey Show.
LA Talk Live.
Where's Sabir?
He is on his way.
Any moment now.
We are holding down the fort until he gets here. So, welcome back. We just went over all the what's going on in the heavens. I want to get into. I want to go to Ray.
We have a caller, I think.
Yes, I think
Should
we
we
do.
go to the call or should we? Okay. All right. Let's address the caller.
Let's take the call.
Okay. All right. Taj, you are back with us.
Islam, yes.
Yes.
Islam. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome.
Greetings to the family.
Peace.
Greetings. Brother
You
Taj.
are speaking to Krysten and Ray and Alberto. We are all here in the studio. We're waiting on Sabir. He's on his way. But in the meantime, we want to get started with you. And for all of you that don't know who Taj is, Taj, can you give us a brief
Introduction.
word about
Tell us
what
you
you
are.
do, who you are?
You break up a little bit. You're breaking up.
Don't be on speakerphone.
Are you on speakerphone, Taj?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Kill the speakerphone.
Can you kill the speakerphone because it's giving us a lot of feedback here?
Yeah, because it's messing it up. All right, Islam, can you hear me?
Okay,
Islam.
that's
Yes,
much better.
Can you give our audience just a little brief introduction of who you are and some of the wonderful work that you've done?
Yes. Well, I'm just like most of the brothers and sisters, over the years who've been trying to do things or trying to help uplift our people and battling the so-called struggle with these foreign Europeans who've been occupying our land and abusing our people for years. And I've been through many organizations. I've been an assistant minister in the Nation of Islam. I've been a minister in the church, in Jehovah's Witness. I've been around. I've studied quite a bit. And I started my library when I was about 7.5 years old.
Wow.
One of the things I discovered over the years was as I got a little older, logically, by me always being a reader, and we always had a library at the house, and my father always read. And so as you grow older, logically, you have a little bit more background than the average small child would, and not necessarily recognizing that it's threatening sometimes to persons in positions of authority or order or organizations. And I learned over a period of years that it made some of the older people uncomfortable. And, of course, it took me a little longer to figure it out, that it really is based in general dishonesty. And one of the things I discovered, one of the hard lessons I learned, that most organizations, a lot of leaders profess to want to help the people, but usually they're in the business of raping their people right along with the Europeans. And when it comes to really delicate or really serious subject matters that actually bring solution, they duck it. Or either they condemn it or dispel it or say that the people aren't ready, etc. Now, over the years, cut through the chase, I came to the conclusion that I would be involved with different organizations, but I also came to the conclusion if I wanted anything done, that I was going to have to do it myself. Now, what I always did at the house with my babies, I always taught them to read, and we had a library at my house too. And so I always made sure that my children, had opportunity to study at home, because, of course, after a while, common sense tells you don't trust the people out there, if you get the point. Right. Whether it's the school system or others in the so-called organizations, church, mosque, synagogue, etc., because for the most part, they teach people emotionalism and stay away from the real facts that cause solutions. Right. So anyway, I used to, write little books for my children, etc. And me and Brother Abdullah, over the years, he had came to classes. I used to hold classes even at my house before I became even more conscious of the bloodline and more of world history. I used to hold classes at my house, and I used to give literature away. And I could cook too, so I used to cook and feed people and give literature away. And Abdullah came with my cousin to one of the classes, and he had questioned, because he was actually belonging to a church and being prepared, for ministry. He's got a master's degree in sociology at ETC, and he was one of the doubters of the information, because most people take the information of birthright as a belief system, and many people who have the knowledge teach it as if it's a belief system, and so most people have a misconception of what the Moorish movement is really all about. So my background, and of course my scholarship already let me know that 90% of your preachers are Masons, and so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent about 7 questions for him to ask his minister. And of course, I already knew, I didn't know exactly the response, but I kind of assumed the response. At any rate, he took the questions to his minister, and within 3 weeks, he was out of the church. And instead of being a visitor with my cousin, he started coming to the round table on a regular basis. And he's been on the move ever since. And so that's Brother Abdul Iltalib Mosey Bey. And he's one of the best etymologists that you're going to find around right now. And I just talked to him earlier. But the deal of it is I founded the round table in order to distribute some of the information that I used to make for my children with other people and people that used to come to my classes. And basically, I officially founded the Round Table in 1982, even though I've been, doing the classes on a regular basis. That's when I got a hold of some of Noble Ali's information. And also I did some research in the FBI papers, and I did some research in religions, American history, and I did some little research in England, in Canada, etc. And I began to find out that a lot more people knew this information on another level than is usually told about Noble Ali. And so basically I founded the Round Table to dispense the information without being under, the jurisdiction of persons who would be trying to shut it down. So basically that's what I do. It's a lot more, but as a short, in short, that's my resume.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. That was impressive.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I have a few questions. What is the difference, if there is any difference, between the Moorish movement and living in a sovereign capacity?
Now, let's be very simple, and I always like to try to keep stuff simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Basically, like say, if you have an unabridged dictionary in the studio now.
Do we? We only have a Black's Law dictionary here.
All right. This is a lesson for you and a lesson for the listeners, because I recognize all across the country there's a lot of confusion in that area. Mm-hmm. And so first I want to take you to third grade grammatication and linguistics. Most of our people think they're black and Indian and a whole bunch of other brands that they think are identities. Mm-hmm. However, they're brands. But before people, you can tell people that, but until they study, they can only, hear you say it, and then they get caught into these gray areas, hearing different things from different people. Mm-hmm. But let me make this very simple. Sovereignty across the planet automatically comes with nationality. Are we clear?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Now, if somebody's talking sovereignty and not talking nationality, they're not talking sovereignty.
Okay. Okay.
Now, what has occurred is because many things that involve us as human beings in our social interchanges as people on the planet in nation states, the issue of jurisprudence and international law and civilization principles have not been taught in our communities, although our people throw those words around very often. Like you hear our people always talk about nation this and nation that. And all you need to do is ask them fundamental rules of civilization and fundamental civics of the principles of government, and most of them get tongue-tied or think you're trying to convert them to some religion, which means they're incompetent. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. However, because we also have egos, most of our people start reverting to their belief systems or their clubs and start debating issues that are not debatable when they don't have a background in civilization, although we are the direct descendants of civilization. And so what occurs is Our people usually get into subject matter when they don't know what they're talking about, get disrespected by the rest of the civilized society, get rejected, and then accuse everybody else of racism. See where our problem is?
Right.
Now, as an example, and as a matter of fact, there's an issue with a brother that was getting threats and etc. with his business and his personal self from the Internal Revenue Services. And now he's Chinese, right?
Right.
And of course, talk to the brother, etc. Now, for other nationals, this information is not difficult, but it's very difficult for people who think that human beings are crayons. And one of the most difficult things to do is talk to a people that think they know God, Jesus, Allah, Moses, Muhammad, and everything, and they walking around the world thinking that human beings are crayons. Light skin, orange skin, black people, purple skin, don't matter what color you are, white skin, purple people, my orange, dark skin girlfriend type thing, and they think that stuff is real. Right. However, they don't know that that's connotative linguistics that's designed for social engineering, because they don't know that human beings are not crayons. They have nationalities all around the planet.
Right.
And when you're outside of that venue, you're considered as being outside of the law and in absolute dishonor of your mothers and fathers, because the laws that govern human beings on the planet called Earth come from nations. And the international laws and the constitution of the nation states are in place to secure the rights divine and the substantive rights of people, which is the major issue that our people are always marching, praying, rallying for, but yet they don't know the rules of the game. And so they're held as incompetent wards of the state, on top of the fact that they've been transacting business in European names and think they can own property, and they sit around debating about colors and marching and praying. The world looks at us like we're out to daggone lunch. And when somebody talks to them about nationality, they think it's a belief system. So you see that in general, even though our people have a lot of information and a lot of disciplines in the general information of civilization principles, we are totally incompetent and too arrogant and self-righteous to recognize our own ignorance. Therefore, the civilized world just simply dismisses us, gets a thick piece of plexiglass, moves into the community, and sells our people their toilet paper and hair that belongs to somebody else and get wealthy within a year or two.
Amen.
And that's the real truth. And we don't understand that we're outside of civilization while we're sitting around always talking about Hotep, Afrocentricity, and everything, and don't even know the rules of the game. And it's unfortunate, but that's really the truth. And that's one of the central parts of the Moorish divine and national movement that's not understood by a lot of people. And even a lot of conscious Moors don't teach it properly, because we've got a lot of sellouts amongst us that's in the business of trying to sell birthright when it belongs to the people by birth. It can't be sold. And so you see a lot of these gray areas and corruptions that go on that create a lot of confusion and gray area. However, if you talk to other nationals straight up, they talk to you bluntly. Then as soon as our people come around talking about light skin, orange skin, black people, they shut up. You get the point?
Yeah.
Yes.
They know you don't know.
And then our people think that they are racist, and our people don't even know that race is the species. And it's difficult to talk to them because they start thinking they know everything. And then we can fight good too. And so as soon as we start talking facts, our people start talking about what their beliefs are.
Yeah.
They don't even know that's elementary for children.
Yeah.
And most people think they know religion, have never been given religion. The religion is maintained amongst the priesthood alone. And all your secret societies that they call devil worship are really the ones that got the science, even of their own history. Now, let me make this point, too, because I think a lot of people, if they're thinking, they would recognize themselves. Do you notice that everywhere in all your secret societies, say it again?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Do you notice that all the secret societies, no matter what they are, Kykla's, Ku Klux Klan, Skull and Bones, Knights Templars, Shriners, Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR, Knights of Malta, the Union, White Chameleon, ETC, Eastern Star, Daughters of ISIS, ETC, all of them ritually wear the Moorish fez, and everybody trying to act like they don't know who the Moors are.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And our people whose crown it belongs to looks at it like it's some kind of third-party issue that has nothing to do with them, which indicates incompetence, but they don't know that.
Right.
Until they study world history. And the other problem is, due to the fact that our people have been miseducated, which they admit to, and then they try to use the miseducation to deal with the rest of the civilized world. And the experiences have proven to us that we are miseducated, and yet we're too arrogant to accept that we've been played, even by a lot of our own marching, praying, keep hope alive leader guys who themselves got Moorish fez in secret and 33-degree Masons while being taken to the mountaintop and getting a 501c3 agreement with the popes of Rome through Lyndon Baines Johnson, Skull and Bones member, for them not to rock the boat and tell these people the truth. You get the point?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Now, and this same information is why the real reason why they murdered Malcolm, because he found out and they knew he was going to tell. And the same thing with Khalid, Brother Khalid, when he left, you notice that he started telling the people he started telling the people he's the Moor.
Yeah, he sure
and
did.
then next year he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody knows, but us.
Right.
And we've been played. And we sit around talking about sovereignty, and you can't talk sovereignty unless you belong to a nation state. As a matter of fact, you can't even get reparations unless you're a nation state. And our people still talk in colors in 2013. You see the problem?
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
But we got tons of belief systems.
Yeah.
Now, if you check the records of international law, all the nations of the earth have been pleading with our people to declare their nationality. In the Rights of a Child of 59, in the Universal Proclamation of Human Rights in 48, in treaty law enforcement in 94, and with Obama signing the rights of indigenous people just this past couple years ago. And pay attention to this. As a matter of fact, you can go on the website and you can see it. When Obama and his wife left the country to visit Hikupta. Now, Hikupta is the name of Egypt, the real name of Egypt. And remember, all high priests and all scholars know that the real name of Egypt is Hikupta.
Can you spell that
How
word?
do you spell that?
They say Egypt.
How do you
the
spell
masses,
that?
meaning there's an education for the masses and an education for the classes. So when Obama went to Hikupta, he revealed to the world that the United States Constitution is derived from Muslim law, didn't he?
Yeah.
How do you spell the name for Egypt? The real name for Egypt?
Hikupta. Hikuptah. And if you recognize at the end of it is where you got Ptah.
Right.
Ptah. Yes, that's right. You know, and I'm only saying that to you to let you know that even some of your so-called scholars that like to call themselves black guys have been holding information back from their own people, making them think that they know what's up when they know that Egypt is a sociological name, and it is not indeed the name of the land or the people.
Right.
Now, the other deal it is, now you know the tradition in law and in government that when the president and the first lady leaves the land, that they leave and enter other nation states and are presented formally. Are we correct?
Yes.
Right.
Did you notice that when they left, President Obama went to Hikupta and his wife, Michelle, triangulated and went to the Alhambra, the last stronghold of the Moors before the Europeans overthrew the world and have been instituting their Inquisition operations against the Aboriginal people of the world. And then they immediately came back and he signed the rights of indigenous people. Now you understand that no matter what Obama says, that them Europeans say, you can say whatever you want to say, you Muslim, because they know he knows the real history.
Right.
And they know that he knows that he's not black, that he has a nationality. And he's sending signals to our people, and our people waiting for somebody to be a sacrificial lamb to lay across some railroad track to do something for black people, which that don't exist. And as soon as they claim to be black, the Christian black codes immediately come into effect, and they're registered in the state of Delaware as Christian property under the 14th Amendment, artificial persons. And they're running around admitting to something that is a fraud, and then when they're treated as a fraud, they're accused of the civilized world as racism.
Right. Wow.
That's what our problem is. But yet they want the benefits of sovereignty, which can't happen and won't happen. And if a Chinese come here talking about he's a light-skinned yellow guy, he loses his birthright too.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Right. That's for sure.
So Taj,
you know, so when you're talking sovereignty, remember at the same time you're talking nationhood. And in the civilized world, it's almost like if you're talking sovereignty, it's nothing wrong with it, but if you come like that, it automatically indicates a naivety because it's like something that they would look at you sideways. Why are you saying that? You know, because it doesn't jive. Because if your national sovereignty comes with the nation, you don't have to prove that you're sovereign. Be yourself.
Right.
Honor your mothers and fathers like every other civilized human being. The sovereignty comes with it.
Right.
That's why when they're talking about different nation states, they say what? Sovereign states of the world, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're and when they're talking states, they're not talking about like Cali, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They're talking nationhood too. And so if our people don't know the rules of the game, we're outside of law. This is the reason why the only thing that they deal with our people with is all programs. You see the problem?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, pay attention to this. People come from different nation states around the world. Do they have problems with voting and stuff like that?
No.
Why is it that our people, after being here for generations after generations, every third president has to sign for them to vote with them names that are not theirs, and they ain't figured it out yet that they're not within the constitutional fold of government?
Wow.
And you can't tell them nothing because they got some marching, praying preacher guy that keeps hope alive, got some certificates on the wall that they don't know, got a fez in secret, and getting paid off to keep them busy on that social treadmill.
Yeah.
And you come tell them that they're Moors and they looking at you sideways like you're trying to convert them to some religion, which it is not. It's their bloodline.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Taj, I think that's our biggest problem is that people don't want to accept. Our people don't want to accept even the title Moor, and we run up against these roadblocks. What do you think is the best way to go against that?
Let's look at this. This is the reason why I asked you, did you have a Black's Law Dictionary? One of the easiest, simplest lessons I do, I always try to keep it simple. You know what they say about our people? They don't worry about our people because they don't read, and they mean that too.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. I know. I got it.
I'm going to give you 2 lessons, and you can use this too in your conversations with others. Also, when you deal with any issues in law, or if you're dealing with somebody that's trying to save their houses or something like that, they're being foreclosed on. Remember, because status is everything.
Right.
And if their status is dead, their argument is dead. And they don't know when they walk in court as a black, they don't have rights already, and you can't tell them anything. They think that because they get the UCCs or some administrative process, they can just go around making claims. Well, guess what? Property can't own property.
Right.
That's for starters.
Right.
And number 2, when we get off the show, as a matter of fact, make sure that you all go to like one of the most secondhand stores or a flea market, and you see them old, big, fat dictionaries that everybody tell the people to throw away.
Mm-hmm.
Get them.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna give you a basic grammatication lesson to first give you the facts and tell you not to accept what I'm saying, but go research it yourself, read like other human beings do around the world, and you will find how far behind fundamental stuff that our people are behind fundamental education.
Mm-hmm.
The first rule, like when they show the movie with Malcolm X, and they show where the minister gives him a dictionary, and everybody says, "Oh man, that's deep." The brother came and gave Malcolm a dictionary and told him to expand his vocabulary. Like, that's deep, right?
Right.
Well, guess what? That ain't what happened. What he did, he gave him an adept degree. One of the secrets of grammatication that's only kept amongst the ministers and the priesthood, and it's called the etymon principle of etymology.
Okay.
And anybody that doesn't know the etymon principle in grammatication and linguistics cannot read. Now, that's a rule all over the planet. Now, logically, in communities where people are held to servitude, the fundamental rules of grammatication and orthology and morphology and syntax is not taught, is it?
No.
They think that they're reading syllables, and then when our people get a little frustrated because they can't compete with everybody, they start making up new rules called ebonics and trying to make words mean what they don't mean because they think they're being Afrocentric, which is really silly. However, because we like to feel that we're being spiritual as soon as we just make stuff up and try to make things mean what they don't mean. However, it doesn't jive with the rest of the civilized world. They just watch us go through our spiel of blackdom, of silliness, and we're actually classified as minorities, which is really a legal term for minor, those who have the mentality of minors, and they think it means numbers.
Yes.
You look in the law book and it's social status. And half of our people think it's Afrocentric identity, don't they?
Right.
And you go look at the term colored person, look at it in the law dictionary, you know what it means? Artificial person, distinguished from that which is real, that no court has any judicial obligation to recognize or know.
Right.
See the point? They're brands. And then you got these leader guys playing scholar, going around writing black books, making people think they're deep because they got the 42 lessons or 42 points of Ma'at and start talking Hotep. And they're really playing our people when in secret they themselves have another degree of knowledge. This is how they get their degrees. but let's go to a fundamental third-grade grammatication. The first rule, and this is one of the rules that was taught to Il Malik, and you know it's Il Malik, if you understand, because he got an Il too. He know that's a title, but it's a title to the birthright, title to the land. Now, the first thing that's done when you look up any word, you do not go into your linear entries. You go into the matrix of its etymon. And the matrix of its etymon is the classification, which is 8 parts of speech. This is basic third-grade grammar and grammatication and linguistics. And the first thing when you're defining a word is first you put it in this proper matrix, which means womb, its mother, its egg, its ovum, its seed, its origin, its truth. And then after that, you go into the brackets, which gives you its history. Mm-hmm. Its history, then you go into the appendix of a dictionary, a quality dictionary, and then you put a date on it. And after you put a date on it, then you're looking at its history, its true meaning, its origin, its morphology, and then you have broken the spirit of the word. Now you know and you can read. And what people think the word is not necessarily what it is. Now, that's how scholars cross-check other scholars. Now, as soon as you put up the word black, you'll see immediately after it, it'll have an ADG in an italics, which is its etymon or its matrix, which it means its mother. And so that's classification, and that means an adjective. Mm-hmm. Third-grade grammar tells you that the name of a person, place, thing, or idea is a proper noun, correct?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you see that, any scholar knows that that black's an adjective. First of all, it cannot be a person, place, thing, or idea. It has to be a modifier, because an adjective is a modification of a noun, etc. Therefore, it's a social engineering term. It is not the identity of anyone. Then you look right after that, and you have square brackets that will say ME. Now, do you know what ME means?
Middle English, is it?
That's exactly. So now you go into your appendix and you go look up Middle English, and you'll see it dates back to 1150. That means the word does not go back further than 1150 in history. So already a scholar knows that there's no such thing as no ancient black gods of Egypt immediately. You see the point how ignorant our people are?
That's heavy.
Yes.
This is before you even go. Yes. This is before you even go into the linear entries. Now, immediately you already know that black don't go past 1150. Then you do the secondary research of the etymon, and it'll say derived from OGH. And you see OGH in capital letters. Then you go to your appendix, and it'll say Old High German. And then when you trace it to its etymon origin, it really means pale. So can our people be black people?
Not at all.
Nope.
Now you see why the rest of the world wonder what the hell's wrong with our people?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Number one, we identifying ourselves by an adjective, which means we agree to that, because that's an oral contract, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? Now, since the laws that govern nations come from the bloodline or the pedigree of a people, and we're outside of the honor of our mothers and fathers, does any other man have any obligation to honor any so-called black people when they don't honor their own mothers and fathers?
Not at all. Not at all.
Now, you got to remember, too, that with the Renaissance of the 13th to the 16th century, where the Moors went into Europe and civilized the Europeans, that brought the Europeans out of darkness into light. And that science and culture of the 7 liberal arts, etc., mathematics, etc., that the Moors used to bring the Europeans out of darkness is called Masonry, which is the study of Ma'at and the study of mother and son. That's what it is. Horus and Isis. Do you understand? And they make an image of what they call Jesus and Mary. And so Masonry is mother and son and the study of. Therefore, it is Islam, the science. We ain't talking about the ritual that people are used to in their little clubs and their little secularisms. We're talking about the science that runs the planet. Now you understand why every person in superior positions of power must be a Mason or an Eastern Star, whether they're Christian Jew or whether they're Christian Jews or otherwise. Yes. You see?
Yep.
And everybody knows our history but us, and we sitting around talking about our belief systems and identifying ourselves by our clubs that we belong to, and the rest of the world have lodges and rituals and shrines actually celebrating or giving honor to our history and our people, and ritually wearing our fez and everybody knows who you are but us, and we sit around playing belief games.
Yeah.
You see the point? Meanwhile, Noble Drawley bring the information, and they think he's dealing. They think he's dealing with religion when he's bringing up a political forum for the return of the birthright. And the same principle that Drawley set up was also being brought to the floor of the Congress of the House of Representatives in 1790, at the same time when George Washington, who was the 9th president, not the first, was being appointed to the palace. And that's the Sundry Free Moors Act. And it's an issue of status, always has been. And the same argument with the issue of homicide. You seen that movie, the Homicide movie? Mm-hmm. That same principle, the distinction between whether a person's in the honor of their bloodline or whether they're a branded slave. And any man, woman, or child that honors not their mothers and fathers are considered the property of another man, particularly if they bear the name of another man. Mm-hmm. And essentially, outside of a lot of other refinements and other information, as a base of argument, that's fundamentally what's wrong with our people socially and politically. And the rest of it, they just simply need to be re-educated and take their places amongst the affairs of men like other civilized people and stop marching and praying to idol gods that they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know that God is a German word. They think that God is the name of supreme being.
Right.
They're black leader guys and marching guys and preachers and all these people that keep them marching around in circles and everything. Even brothers and sisters that plan the Hotep stuff. You understand? Talking like God is a noun, and every scholar knows that God is a German word and it's a verb transitive and is not a noun. It means so God. The principle of God is not what the Creator or the Supreme Being is, but what the Supreme Being does. It doesn't. Hold on. He's going to plug this thing on because I'm losing charge. Hold on.
All right.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Well, Taj, we're going to go to.
2 minutes.
Okay, we're going to go to.
So, excuse me. So let me finish that real quick.
Okay.
So it means, and you can go back into your appendix of any quality dictionary, and you'll see that it's a verb transitive, not a noun, and it means to call upon, to invoke, and to pour out. And that third principle of godding is where you get the ritual of libation that they do in all religions, etc. But they won't tell the people that because then they can't get them to give them their lunch money and make them think that Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad got a bank account at Chase Manhattan and he needs his ass.
Okay.
And this is the truth.
Yes.
You know, and so what happens is people that are threatened by this information always try to slander the active Moors or misrepresenting what Noble Drawley is really bringing to the people in order to divert them from the real foundation of what this information represents, which is the return of their inheritance. They don't even know that they're the heirs to the world's largest estate.
Right. That's right.
Let's pause it right there. We're going to take a break, Taj.
All right, good brother.
Pay some bills right now, right quick. We'll be back. You listen to Sabir Bey Show on LA Talk Live, and DJ Haze is going to take us to break, huh?
Yes.
Right on.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
All right.
Nationality. I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. I'm an everlasting spirit personality, man. Sooner control elements whenever I balance my span. Nationality is precious for your national redemption. We come out of the dead sense, gathered up at the entrance. New council in Postglyptical District number 1. Enforced the Vienna Convention, the treaty up on these punks. According to the 805 Illinois Compound Statute, the Religious Corporation Act. If you don't know, you lack truth. This statute created the Morbid Science Temple charter that Juali still issues by his signature. He brought us accepted the straw man for value, therefore he redeemed mine. Talking about the corporate soul being conveyed, the lean dies. Prophet was barely in bed. He's my God, I changed you. Devils notice. They received a low grade blow, and then the beast had no understanding. The revelation spewed water at humanity. I'm a Ross, this a statement. I never would have thought it would be this way.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Do you suffer from degenerative diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, fibroid tumors, high cholesterol, genital herpes, or a plethora of other diseases that rob you of a quality life? If so, then visit the website of herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra at dhealthstore.com and open the door to natural healing at an affordable price. dhealthstore.com has over 1,800 products created by herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra, specifically designed to help you heal the natural and safe way. At dhealthstore.com, you'll find everything from herbal formulas and cleanses, such as Tahuti's famous full body detox, as well as herbal teas, extracts, natural body butters, lotions, creams, children's products, hair care products, and of course, sexual enhancement products for both men and women. So visit the website of Tahuti Ma'atra, dhealthstore.com, or call toll free at 1-888-823-9416. dhealthstore.com.
It's your girls, Forbidden Gems, inviting you to join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the hottest, livest talk show, Forbidden Tuesdays.
Join us as we expose the new generation of love and dating and help y'all run the game right. Ladies beware, fellas bring out your notepads.
So don't forget to tune in to
Forbidden Tuesdays
exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. This is
LA Talk Live,
and we are more than just talk.
You ready?
I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality.
Just for giggles. He knows what he's doing over there. Rich is on the board. He's not even talking today, and he knows what he's on top of.
I know. Welcome back to the Sabir Bey Show. We are in the midst of talking to legendary Taj Tariq Bay.
Yes. Let's take one moment out to give a shout out to our sponsor at dhealthstore.com. Herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra. He has over 1,800 concoctions. Actually, right now it's a sale at dhealthstore.com. If you order online or over the phone, it's 30 to 60% off everything.
Ooh.
So you might want to take advantage of that till May 2nd. Oh yeah. So he has excellent products. So make sure you check it out. And the phone number is 888-823-9416. That's dhealthstore.com. Taj, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. We're in the truck, so excuse the noise, but we'll be at the place of rest shortly.
Okay.
So if you hear the little noise in the background, because we're in the truck leaving the warehouse.
No, we got you good, brother.
No problem.
So we were talking off air a little bit. We were talking off air a little bit about some of the amazing knowledge you were dropping. I had a question personally about a driver's license. The issue of a driver's license, and let me just give you. Let me just give you a.
People need to know that too.
Yeah, let me just give you a rundown. Though, like I'm at a point where I understand a lot of this knowledge. I understand that the law is not right. I understand everything, but now I still have to operate and function in society. You know, I still need to drive. Now, how do I juggle that? Where is the balance in that? And how do you go about handling that?
This is what it is. Now, and this is why it's important for people to know the history.
Okay.
What our people have been calling racism is really the enforcement of, and write this down, everybody, the secret treaty of Verona, which is an agreement between England and the popes of Rome for the confiscation and the theft of the rights and the lands of the Moors under a Pope Innocent the third, which is the Spanish Inquisition, which is when you do the research in world history, you'll see the Inquisition against the Moors and Yahudi, or what you call Jews, because we are the Moors are the what we call Jews or Hebrew. What you would call Hebrew, that's us.
Yeah,
if you understand, and they've been on a mission for a few hundred years to destroy us. And if people don't know real world history, they have difficulty understanding North American history. And because of miseducation, our people keep looking at the different history or different people in pockets. And they need to be schooled in world history. Anybody that does not know world history cannot know African history. You can't know African history without knowing European history, because European history is African history. And you know, and I know, African history is not taught like that. And you can begin to recognize why our people are so far behind, because their concepts are absolutely wrong.
Right.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, one of the things that the mission of the barristers of England, operating as deputy knights for the popes of Rome under the secret treaty of Verona, is the mission to overthrow the republican forms of government that is derived from Moorish law, particularly with the agreement between the deist sons of Europe and the Moors, who set up the principles of peace between the Muslims and the Christians with the establishment of the United States of America on Moorish dominions. Now, Northwest Amexem, or what you hear in secret societies, the keepers of the North Gate, is the cosmological name of Northwest Amexem, Northwest Africa, North America, etc., which is why the Great Seal Pyramid is on the back of that note that they falsely call a dollar bill, and yet no one speaks under it because it's the seal of the Moorish Empire. And this is why Illuminati uses our seal, making claim on our birthright, hoping that we will think it's the sign of the devil, reject it, and therefore be charged with abandonment, and they lay claim to our estate. And a lot of this has to do with also the process of abandonment that they use in what they call mortgage foreclosures. And most of our people have mortgages and don't even know that mortgage means dead pledge. So the contract is dead, and they themselves are the pledge. And they wonder why they keep losing, because they can't damn read. And you can't tell them anything. And as soon as you start giving them information about birthright, they think you're trying to convert them to something. That's what our problem is. And the world just simply takes advantage of us because we're arrogant with our ignorance. We're not only ignorant, we're arrogant.
Right, loud and
wrong. You know, and the deal of it is now, there's three principles that the popes are using through their deputy knights. Because after when Nobudrali set up the old Canaanite temple for the restoration of the knowledge and the birthright to the Moors of the Northwest, Woodrow Wilson, who was preacher for the corporate United States, immediately met with representatives of the popes of Rome and bankers of England to sell the government on Jekyll Island right off the coast of Georgia. And so in 1913, when Nobudrali set up the old Canaanite temple to restore the birthright, they met with the popes of Rome, representatives of the popes of Rome, to sell the government. And this is when they set up the Inquisition Revenue Services for the popes of Rome, and they renamed it the Internal Revenue Services, which is actually a collection arm of thugs that actually belong to the Order of the Jesuits. And our people, out of ignorance, think that's part of government. That is part of the Inquisition operations. Then they set up the Federal Reserve System for them in order to steal our gold and send it to England under the Treaty of Verona, and then give us counterfeit called Federal Reserve notes, which is actually debt. And that's why everybody is broke now. And they don't even know what money is and what money is not, but they keep on telling you, me, and everybody else what God is and what Allah is and what Prophet Muhammad wants and what Jesus wants, and they don't even know, they ain't even never damn been paid. You understand? Now, one of the things that they're doing with hypothecating the birthright is that the daughters of the American Revolution set up the marriage license, etc., by which that the corporate state can claim ownership of the womb, particularly of Asiatic women, and stopping the Asiatic males from what they call marrying into the pale-skinned nations of Europe, i.e. the European women, etc. And so the marriage license is actually a sales certificate of the womb. And as soon as the people go to the corporate state and get a marriage license, it represents a sale of the eggs of the womb. And so, therefore, the eggs, before they're even fertilized, become wards of the corporate state.
Right.
And ward is a legal term for slave, and our people just think it means some nice word because they can't read anyway, because they don't deal with this kind of stuff. They say that's that Moor stuff.
Right.
And it's really law, and it's really what's happening to them. Right. And because they're not talking about it in their churches, mosques, and synagogues, they figure it doesn't apply to them because they don't believe it type stuff. And so with the marriage certificate, they claim the eggs of the womb. With the birth certificate, they claim the eggs after they form bodies. And then with the driver's license, they claim the right of movement and liberties on the land. And it triangulates the entire birthright of the people. And it's just like what you call biological warfare by virtue of colored instruments. And that's what the driver's license is. It's actually a private non-governmental trading instrument that's actually put on a stock market, etc. That's why when our people get vehicles, they stay registered. They don't even know that the registration is. They take the registration of your vehicle and make a trust and put it in a Sister Q trust, a Sister QB trust, Sister Q use trust, and the corporate stake goes in and out of it, and you're on the stock market, and so is your property. That's why they can tell you to buckle up in their car that you think is yours.
Right,
And the deal with, and because they list you as a foreigner in your own land under the 14th Amendment as an artificial person, which is why they write the name on that license in all capital letters, because they're accusing you of being a foreigner dealing in the ports of another nation state, etc., like shipping. Therefore, you're obligated, and all things that refer to you are no longer private property, but they are listed as corporate activity under corporate auspices, which is why everything you do in labor is referred to as income, which in fact it is not. And therefore, you have to pay them to travel on your own land since you're listed as a foreigner. And that's what a driver's license is for. It only applies to commercial activity for foreigners in another venue that's alien to their own, etc. So first of all, you got to know what a driver's license is. Okay. That it doesn't apply to natural persons because the right of travel already belongs to you divinely. Right. That's why every Supreme Court case always rules against the lower courts, ET, concerning driver's license when anybody who knows law fights it, because it doesn't apply to the natural person. It applies to corporations only. But I do understand, because they're operating with the Christian black codes imposing that on our people, that our people have to compromise in order just to make a living. But they need to know what they're dealing with is the Christian black codes of 1724 that was adopted into all the states after they closed the Freedmen's Bureau in 1868, etc., and listed all persons called Negro, Black, and Colored Indians, or whatever they call themselves this week, as Christian property under the 14th Amendment, and the driver's license is listed under the 14th Amendment, and so are they, which is why they can't even vote unless under the 14th Amendment, the Voting Rights Act, which is a privilege, which dissolves every few years, etc., that has to be revisited all the time because it's a political football with all these people that know what God is and everything that don't even know what the hell's going on the earth. You get the point? So the drivers, now what you got to do and what other people have to do, whenever you have an issue with them, first thing that's supposed to be as a standard is a quo warranto. A quo warranto, a discovery, injured party, etc., and a command to dismiss those instruments. And if they don't dismiss it, you can just take an executive position as being the heir to the estate and tell them to go ahead and close the account, etc., and give you 5,000 notes for you having to come to visit them in the first daggone place. That's how you're supposed to deal with them tickets and stuff that they give you. Meanwhile, and although the contract is a fraud, etc., that's how you start dealing with them until our people wake up and stop supporting all these institutions that do nothing for them and start acting like they know and go ahead and start suing these people, etc., and fixing this mess.
So how do we...
A countersuit, always.
Okay. So how do we travel to other countries without using, quote unquote,
your nationality card? But because our people don't have a nationality card, our people don't recognize their own nationality. They come under the U.S. corporation, and it's a corporation, not the land. The other problem is our people keep calling the corporation the country because they don't know the difference between corporations and countries.
Right.
And nation states. And since they themselves don't recognize their own nationality, logically they're wards of the United States, and therefore they're subject instead of being nationals. You get the whole point?
Right.
Now there's 4 levels of citizenship. There's national, there's citizen, there's alien, and there's subject. And our people are held as subject, and they don't even know the classifications. And since they won't fix the classification, they fall under the black codes. And logically, here we go.
Right.
That's what our problem is. And you can't tell them nothing. So you try to tell them something, they start talking about, the Moors like it's some third-party person. That's like a Chinese or somebody's been calling yellow all the time, and you start telling them Chinese history, and then they talking, well, those Chinese over there, as if they're some other people. That's what our problem is. We're incompetent.
Right. Now, I have another...
We keep talking about birthright from a third-party perspective, which is the first indication of incompetence.
Another question, what is the difference between Il, Day, Bay, Al, and how do you choose one once you get into your proper status?
Now, it's like everything else. Don't do anything that you first don't study.
Okay.
And don't do things that you don't know about, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, your Ils and Bays are mainly in the north.
Okay.
And your days and hours are mainly in the south. Islam sisters are mainly in the south.
Okay.
The South Gate, for instance, like when you're dealing with the islands, the Atlantis Islands, etc. So that would be Boricane, that the people call Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Dominica, Haiti, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And once you begin to understand that, you'll even understand Toussaint and all the brothers down there, even why he set up the Republic, also why they killed him. You understand?
Yep.
Also why people come from around the world to visit the Moorish forts that's on all the islands, and our people are the only ones that ain't figured this stuff out because they think they're different people. You understand?
Right. Okay.
We're the deal. This is what the deal is. Up here in the north, we have the opportunities in many areas that many of our brothers and sisters don't have on the islands and in the south. However, as far as the intellect of understanding the principle of nationality that's all over the world, we're the retarded ones amongst them all.
Right.
And you can't tell us nothing. It's almost like talking to a brick.
Mm-hmm.
And this has pretty much kept the Europeans secure up here. This is another reason why, like if you notice that whenever our people here from the north go places to other countries, you ever notice that 90% of the time they're always with some travel group going on some travel, but you don't usually see them moving around freely in other countries?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's go to a trip to Egypt. Let's go to the Bahamas. Let's go to Jamaica on some ship or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has a trip they go and look at 2 pyramids and stuff like that and think they Afrocentric type stuff.
Right.
I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as mixing with the people, they don't let them do that. Because nobody in the world likes black people because they're traitors.
Right.
All you got to do is put them out of a job 2 weeks, and they'll go in the army and go around the world murdering their brothers and sisters,
right.
which is European in power, and then come back and call him white man, which means sovereign, because they can't damn read.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know it's a status. They think it's a complexion.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you try to tell them that, and they'll say, "Oh, that's that Moorish stuff," and they're incompetent. And funding their own enslavement.
Right. Right.
I mean, this stuff is so asinine that it's amazing.
It is.
And
it's so
you can kind of
widespread.
understand once you, of course, you all study, but I'm talking about the people in general. Once they get some of the fundamentals, they'll start recognizing why the world rejects us.
Mm-hmm.
And they also recognize why people can come from other countries in our communities, don't care who the mayor is, don't even speak the language, and in 2 years they got a house in Alexis or a gas station or somewhere, and selling our people stuff, but yet our people are so saved and know God and all that stuff. Our people are full of stuff.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
And they can't figure this stuff out because they're too arrogant to listen to intelligence. You give them intelligence, they don't want to hear it.
Right.
You want to sell them some version of God or belief, they'll buy it and support it to the 10th power.
Mm-hmm. I have a question that was texted to me. It says, what are your views on setting up a trust? And once you file your UCC1, what are other parts of the UCC that are most important to pay attention to?
Let's get very blunt.
Okay.
The first thing that everybody needs to know is that a subject cannot own property. And I say this: if anybody considering a trust, 9 times out of 10, they better be careful because they better study trust law, because most of the trusts that people set up are administrative trusts when they should be dealing with allodial trust.
Okay.
Now, because the European middle class is being dissolved, a lot of them are starting to expose information that otherwise they would not talk. Because basically what's happening is now that they've been betrayed and they're, how do you say, the new nigger, now all of a sudden they want the republic back and they're exposing information about the system. However, this must be understood. They themselves are members of the U.S. corporation, and all they're doing is arguing with their corrupted leaders over the Moorish spoils anyway. It's all your stuff. They both arguing over your own stuff. So if you're going to talk about trust, number one, you better be in propria persona su juris su heritis if you're going to be even thinking about a trust.
Okay.
However, it's like this. First, you must be in your proper person. Status is the first thing, is law all around the world. Then the issue secondary, after the status is set for the record, then you have the issue of jurisdiction, which you have 3 types of jurisdiction, and then thus the venue. So the jurisdiction deals with personam jurisdiction, which is the natural person, the being himself or herself. then is subject matter jurisdiction. That deals with the classification of law, whether it's a state law, whether it's whatever type of jurisprudence may be involved. And then you deal with territorial jurisdiction. That's the capacity for someone to make a decision or to take what you call jurisdiction or judicial powers to make a decision, discretion, and order, etc., to settle a claim, etc., etc., to be competent, etc., usually presented by some judge or an executor, etc. So those things must already be in place with anybody that's even talking about a trust. That must be grounded already with them. Need not be discussed as an information. Mean they supposed to know that like they know their ABCs. Mean you don't start talking about ABCs and you don't start talking about 1 to 9. You just count when the situation comes up. And if they can't operate like that, they need not talk about a trust. You get the point? However, it is intelligent to put everything in trust because what's happening is that the Europeans are taking everything that's called Negro, Black, or Colored, Indian, and West Indian, Puerto Rican, etc., and got them in trust under the 14th Amendment. Now, since they know that, well, the only way that they can have a trust that has standing in law is be in propria persona. And in law, in propria persona is being oneself. And in law, that means having a nationality because you can't bring the common law in to trump the legislative law, or the statutory codes or the Roman law without bringing in the common law. And the common law is your capacity to attach to your own ancient traditions and customs by virtue of that principle from which all laws of nations come is the common law recognized to trump the other law. And so it still boils down to nationality. And most people keep on trying to dance around, trying to get property or trying to secure things without their nationality. And ultimately they're going to lose because until they honor their mothers and fathers, their state property. However, if you're going to do trust, make sure that it is not an administrative trust. That's number one. So write that down and make sure it's a lodial. In order for it to be a lodial, you must be in your proper person, in propria persona, etc. Because if you're not, the state already has claim, and they're going to fight you to the nth degree. The other deal of it is 9 times out of 10, people will do an administrative trust and think they got it, and the state will override it. This is also why it's dangerous to get a lawyer or anybody from the Barristers Association to do it for you. Now, if you got any instruments, etc., that you're coming from them, which are called fixed instruments, it is best and most intelligent for you to modify them in accord with international law and put your nationality on it so that your trust has validity. Because outside of that, they will override it and go in it when the doo-doo hits the fan. Get the whole point?
Yes. Got you.
The other deal is that we must understand this, too, is that the people must understand the distinction between privileges and rights. Rights belong to divine beings, to natural beings, persons in their proper person. Privileges belong to anybody under the 14th Amendment or carrying a brand. That's automatic all over the world. So that's the first thing that they should know when they're looking at any of this information. And this is redundant, but I'm going to repeat this again. Okay. People must be careful coming into information, because there's a lot of information now, they can get it all over the world, is that when they start recognizing the fraud that's going on in all these corporate states and all these corporate institutions and all these corporations, etc., and learning about the straw man, etc., immediately they start thinking about trying to get property, trying to secure what they got and everything else, and never stop and think that until they secure themselves, they cannot secure any property. And this is one of the big frauds that's been passed around with people selling packages and selling UCCs and UCC1 claims, etc. Because remember, that which is unalienable is not put on a commercial venue, because commerce means trade, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so now when you're talking unalienable, you're talking something that cannot be sold, transferred to another. Am I correct?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So now when you're talking about hereditaments, which is corporal and incorporeal, which is a state, etc., that's not to be put on a commercial venue, is it?
Correct.
And if you put it on a commercial venue, you're offering it for sale, aren't you?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, so when people jump on them UCCs, they better make sure they know what they're doing. Because they immediately give them jurisdiction. You see the point?
Right.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Right.
Taj, I have a question for you.
However, that's why you've always heard me say the danger of the UCCs, because people get a little bit of information, start jumping and doing stuff, and then find themselves pasted up against the wall when it comes to push and shove. Meanwhile, they go and file things and give the Europeans finance, which is an indication from the door that they're calling them the sovereign, aren't they?
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
All right, because the sovereign is the one supposed to get his finance, ain't they?
Yeah.
So if you're in China, can you go to China and then tell a Chinese he got to pay you for a license?
No. Not at all.
Or do you go to China and then the Chinese got to come to you for an apostille on his papers?
Absolutely not.
Well, what makes us think that we understand sovereignty and that we understand a right of claim through the UCC1 ETC, and our people ain't figured out yet that these are foreign European colonists that are charging you for stuff and process that are birthright issues on your own land, and you looking for permission from them when you should be making claims rather than asking them for a damn thing.
Right, exactly.
Which means our concepts are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't start doing stuff, but I'm just demonstrating how our people get information, start moving without thinking.
Too fast. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Taj, I have a question for you. I recently spoke with my aunt in Mexico, and she told me that our descendant is either Moors or Arabs. And I just finished and still reading a book that you have called The Moors and Mexico. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it's because now I'm going to show you how much our people are. You know how they say one of the easiest ways to hide stuff from our people to put stuff under their nose?
Yes.
Or in the book.
You'll see the Europeans talk about the Moors in Mexico, and they'll say Old Mec, won't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what Old Mec is?
What?
Older Mexum. Stop.
Mm.
And our people don't even catch it. Now, a few years back, and I think Sabir was there at Pennsylvania, at Philadelphia House on Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. A few years back, they had the different schools in Philadelphia, many of the different schools where they were teaching the children how to do film and to edit film, etc. And also they had Mexicans who were reintroducing some of the ancient culture to the children because they were losing, consciousness of their culture, and so they was doing a show in Mexican garb, etc., which they also did some recently in Philadelphia too, with the Mexican and with the Old Mec, the Aztec, the Maya, etc. And Mexico means the mixing, in case you didn't know. So just telling you.
Yes.
But what cutting through the chase for the sake of time, when they were showing the children the Four Corners dance, and they was dressed in the old costumes, etc. And the general look of the mixed look that you see have Mexicans today. But they brought up a lot of old pictures and oil paintings and stuff that was on old boards and stuff that the Christians didn't get a chance to burn, that was preserved. And they were all dark. And you know what they said right on that stage in Philadelphia? Their ancestors are Moors. And you know how many of our people in the audience that went right over their head?
Dang.
Wow.
Including a lot of Moors sitting in there with feathers on.
Wow. That's crazy.
Now, right in the George Washington's Masonic Museum, and as a matter of fact, you'll find some of those pictures on Abdullah's website, on Civil Letter website, because we used to take people down there like every year, and they've been moving stuff around because now people are starting to wake up. Mm-hmm. You have the president of Mexico in 1857 with his fez on, with Allah written on it in jewels.
Dang.
Wow.
Now, then when you begin to start studying Mexican history, then you understand that Mexico came all the way up near to Canada, and most of the side on that side it was under Queen Khalifa, and this is where you get in Islamic countries the title of Khalifa.
Isn't that where
King Khalifa is what they named California after?
Right,
that was her
exactly,
territory.
exactly.
That's her territory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And our people don't even know their own history here because they're mentally disconnected. They think they came from someplace else.
Right.
And you start telling them that they're Moors and this is their stuff, they look at you like you out to lunch.
All right, Taj. Well, we have to go to a quick break and pay some bills. When we come back, we hope to continue with you. And DJ Haze, take us out. You're listening to the Sabir Bey Show.
LA Talk Live.
Yes. And if you have any questions, you can call in. The call-in number is 323-247-7443. 323-247-7443.
And we're back at the house right now, so I'm gonna plug my other phone in. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that phone if this phone loses its.
Okay.
charge.
No problem.
Thank you, Taj.
All right.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right.
Peace.
Proclaim your nationality. I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. I never would have thought it would be this way to proclaim my nationality. I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. I'm an everlasting spirit personality, man. Sooner control elements whenever I balance my span. Nationality is precious for your national redemption. Wake 'em out of the dead sense, scattered up at the entrance. New council in Poststatistical District number 1 enforced the Vienna Convention, the treaty up on these punks. According to the 805 Illinois Compound Statute, the Religious Corporation Act. If you don't know, you lack truth. The statute created the Morbid Science Temple charter that Juali still issues by his signature. He brought us accepted the straw man for value, therefore he redeemed mine. Talking about the corporate soul being conveyed, the lean dies. Prophet was barely embedded. He's Michael Dog, Archangel, devils.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey, what's up? It's your girls,
Forbidden Gems, inviting you to join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the hottest, livest talk show, Forbidden Tuesdays.
Join us as we expose the new generation of love and dating and help y'all run the game right. Ladies beware, fellas bring out your notepads.
So don't forget to tune in to
Forbidden Tuesdays
exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. This is
LA Talk Live,
and we are more than just talk.
You ready?
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Do you suffer from degenerative diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, fibroid tumor, high cholesterol, genital herpes, or a plethora of other diseases that rob you of a quality life? If so, then visit the website of herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra at dhealthstore.com and open the door to natural healing at an affordable price. dhealthstore.com has over 1,800 products created by herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra, specifically designed to help you heal the natural and safe way. At dhealthstore.com, you'll find everything from herbal formulas and cleanses, such as Tahuti's famous full body detox, as well as herbal teas, extracts, natural body butters, lotions, creams, children's products, hair care products, and of course, sexual enhancement products for both men and women. So visit the website of Tahuti Ma'atra, dhealthstore.com, or call toll free at 1-888-823-9416. dhealthstore.com.
Hey, what's up? It's your girls, Forbidden Gems,
inviting you to join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the hottest, livest talk show, Forbidden Tuesdays.
Join us as we expose the new generation of love and dating and help y'all run the game right. Ladies beware, fellas bring out your notepads.
So don't forget to tune in to
Forbidden Tuesdays
exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. This is
LA Talk Live,
and we are more than just talk.
You ready?
I got a birthright inheritance. Europeans don't want you to have an actuality. Standing here, looking at my Moish flag, old glory, no story. Into the ground kind of goes back into the old northwest and southwest and makes some territory. No such thing as U.S. citizen, historical enforcement. Though everything is voluntary, though. You suffering by the Buck Act and resolutions you don't dare to know. I'm rapping while I'm here to verify. 13, 14, 15, the amendment was never ratified. To my black people, where your free national name was at? Cause attached with that, seemed like your own mental brain was snatched. Like Malcolm X told you many times, where was your heritage? Pick up a book and put down the alcoholic beverages. But don't stop it all at once. You can eternally damage example. Your lungs and kidneys are going up on campus. It's time to get back to the
We're back. Welcome back.
We are back
with self-accredited. I'm a citizen of
to the Sabir Bey Show
on LA Talk Live.
We thought that was a beer part.
Okay, so we're back. We have a couple of announcements. Why am I getting feedback?
I think that might be Taj's phone.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A couple of announcements. On May 4th, which is this
Taj,
Saturday.
can you turn your phone down some? Your radio down? Computer down some?
Is it? Okay.
Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. On May 4th, we have Dr. Leonard Jeffries coming to Los Angeles.
That's a
This
treat.
weekend, this weekend, right?
Gonna be hot.
Yes.
Gonna be hot.
This Saturday,
This is a
right?
Sabir Bey production. And this is going to take place at the Caress Unity Center, 78th and Western.
All right.
You can't miss it. 2 pharaoh statues on the outside of the building, 78th and Western. This is happening on Saturday. You can call Karen for tickets or more information. Her phone number is 562-644-3194. Again, 562-644-3194. I believe it's from 5:30 to 7:30 this Saturday, May 4th. Okay, so you need to be there or be square.
Yes.
That's right.
Get
Those
out there.
tickets are $20.
Are $20. That is a small investment
And
for
cost
what you're going to
effective.
get.
Please
Yes.
support and get your tickets in advance.
Yes,
It's going to be crowded. It's
Yes.
going to be crowded. Also, we want to give a shout out again to our sponsor, thehealthstore.com, where you can find a lot of herbal concoctions from the Houthi Matra. We were just talking. If you have a chance to go by the store, it's in Glendale, 1015 North Pacific Avenue in Glendale. It's an awesome experience to go in there or even call in and just talk to them about health for a few minutes. And I'm sure you'll come away with something that you really need or somebody in your family might need. So make sure you check them out. The Houthi Matra.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Do we
Taj,
have
you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, great. All right. So where were we? Where did we leave off? You guys have any questions?
Our head was spinning at so much knowledge at one
Yes.
time.
He answered my
Right.
question.
Okay.
Taj, you coming to LA soon? Are you gonna be out here soon?
I don't know. My plate is full, but I'm going to try to work something out because I mean this has like been years, and I've been wanting to see the family.
Right.
Anyway,
Yes.
Right.
But
Right.
again, as you already know, and I don't have to tell you, as you already know all over the place, one of the major things we got to do with a lot of our people is clear their concepts of about what this stuff is all about. For the most part, their concepts are wrong.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we go about if you're going to look for an apartment or like any living arrangements, like our everyday, day-to-day
See,
activities?
This is the deal. You do things as you have always done.
Okay.
The deal of it is that your status is corrected, and the discriminations that usually occur to so-called black people are not to apply to you because really you're white people.
Okay.
But our people don't know that it's a status.
Mhm.
Now, ultimately, on the long run, when it goes beyond the BS, when the stuff falls, the estate is yours in the first place, and you've never been paid, and you can't pay bills, so you're going to have to study ETC because you're going to have to be able to go into your own trust and start discharging stuff. This is a lot of stuff that they don't want people to know about.
Right.
There's another reason everybody's upset that our people are beginning to understand nationality because they know once they go through the honeymoon period of all the dissemination and how you say get baptized, and that means get rid of all the dirt, the misconceptions,
Right.
get bumped up a little bit. You know what I mean? When they start figuring out who's real, who ain't, who's trying to screw them, who ain't, and they start getting a little bit more sophisticated, logically, they're going to go to the next degree. And they're going to be recognizing not only is this stuff is a fraud, but all of this stuff here is theirs.
Mm-hmm.
How about
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And so people, both the Europeans and a lot of Asiatics too, who've been taking advantage of the people now, trying to own the birthright and talking about they gotta belong to their club type thing, all that BS and crap. You know, that's going to go down the tube too. But at the same time, we need unity. It is in our best interest. We need unity, but above all, our people need to be properly educated in international law and into status, because a lot of things, as things start opening up, as you already know, because information is hitting the airwaves like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a flood.
Yeah.
And so our people are going to have to get grounded in fundamentals so they can separate the wheat from the chaff, or the BS from the cookies, if you get the point.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, it's part of the natural part of development. And, you know, though it may be frustrating, you know, we just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. The greater other part is that so many of our people have this information, and they've been messing our people around and everything, screwing our people and BSing them and everything, and trying to make them buy packages and everything.
Yes.
And this stuff belonged to them before they was even born.
Right. That's right.
You know what I mean? They were, before they was even thought of as sperm, this stuff belonged to them.
Right. Well, there is a question that has been posted on my page that I guess it piggybacks off of veggie back. Okay. Off of what I asked about.
Camelback.
Right, camelback. Yes. It's an addition to the question that I asked about the bays and the eels. And the question is, what is the history of the titles of nobility for bays and eels? And
they changed them around because those are your titles of nobility.
Right.
People often use them, look at them as cognomen, when actually they're titles to the nobles of the East and of the Great East. And the true East is actually 189 degrees of Virgo, actually coming from the bay where you see the Liberty that's standing on the bay above New Jersey and New York, and coming through the west side of Florida. That's actually the true East. That's another thing that people won't tell you. Florida is the land of flowers. And the real deal is, you ever notice how our people think they're getting really deep and Afrocentric, and they keep trying to go to the East, and everybody else is trying to get here?
Right.
And our people haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
I'm serious. We are out to lunch.
Seriously.
Literally sounds like it. Yeah.
Seriously. But
we are out to lunch.
The second part of their question was that they, in their language, bay means for.
Hold on. There, it ain't there. You got to remember, the European's language that he has it all is called Gaelic.
Okay.
What you call English is actually a mixture of Hebrew, Arabic, you understand, and Latin, etc., and is more or less a universal commercial language that don't belong to the European, it belong to you. So that their language stuff, they need to dump that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The European, you gave him language. Our people need to study the Renaissance. Anybody that asks you questions like that, tell them to study the Renaissance so that their questions make sense. But I do respect that. I'm not condemning it, but I'm just saying we need to really get a little bit more sophisticated, because the world keeps looking at us like we're out to lunch. Because there's some basic things that our people should know by now after 100 years. And we really need to read, and we really need, let's put it this way, all the listeners, they need an etymological dictionary of the English language.
Mm-hmm.
They need a good old Oxford dictionary, which is a standard dictionary for all scholars, and they have them in all the schools except in schools wherever our people are.
Mm-hmm.
They need a Black's Law dictionary, at least a 4th edition, 3rd edition back, etc. Any of the later editions, you may have them in your library, but for the most part, they make good birdcage paper. They need a good Bouvier's dictionary of 1856 in that area, etc., which all people in law and the Congress, etc., deal with. And so that they can get on abreast with those things that are dealing with them every day and all the instruments that they use every day. They need to get more sophisticated.
Right.
They also need to understand fundamental Cabalistic principles of the and the yoga principles, which are really the true philosophies of what they're calling religion, which the masses never get. They must also know that when they're going to read the Bibles, the Quran, Uwaspi, the Pentateuch, the Hexateuch, etc., all of them are actually Kabbalistic books. And without understanding the Kabbalistic Aleph-Beth, that they call the alphabet, etc., and particularly with the second letter of Biat, or what you call Beth, which is the feminine principle, they probably won't have a proper understanding of any of those books, nor the truth of religion philosophy. And they must understand that all the priests know that, all the imams know that, all the rabbis know that, all the leader guys know that, all the masons know that. The only ones that don't know it are the believers that keep paying the bills. Are we clear? Good lesson. Apply it. And getting on to the other deal. They must understand that if they go to Alexandria, Virginia, they're going to see the Europeans. They're going to see Truman, Henry Ford, your different presidents, George Washington, all John Adams, all them guys got feathers.
Fez, yeah.
Do you understand? And wearing our people's feathers with Morocco on it, which is the Maghrib, which is Morocco, the most extreme west, Islam, Muslim, etc., and Eel and Bay, the titles of the North Gate. And everybody comes around and takes pictures of them from all around the world. Our history right there in the Masonic Lodge, George Washington Masonic Lodge, and our people are on the corner selling drugs to each other, and they're the heirs. You get the problem what we're dealing with here.
Right,
Shooting each other.
Wow. Brother Taj.
And we're trying to convince them of who they are, and the world knows.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'd like to ask one more question. Could you talk a little bit about the troglodyte?
Troglodyte, now here's where, this is why it's important. And remember this, like it says in the Bible, man eats not by bread alone.
Yes.
Which means there must be a balance.
Right.
Which means, which means actually food for the mind, the word, all right, the logos. Now, when you go home, go into your unabridged Oxford Dictionary, and you go look up troglodyte nigger, and you'll see that troglodyte nigger is the scientific name for Anthropopithecus, which is the species of chimpanzee and gorilla. And as you know, the European naturalist called Charles Darwin talks about the evolution of mankind, a kind of man from the monkey. Well, he's talking about the troglodyte nigger. So the troglodyte nigger you will find in an Oxford Dictionary is the scientific name for Anthropopithecus, which you call the black chimpanzee monkey, Negro Yavera Arebo. And so you will also, when you go look up troglodyte, you'll see that troglodyte nigger also applies scientifically to the caveman or cave dweller, etc. So the troglodyte nigger is the chimpanzee that Charles Darwin talked about, and the caveman European. Now, are our people cavemans, or have our people been civilized for a million years? Who's the caveman, us or the Europeans?
Right, Europeans. Right.
So can we be niggers?
Nope.
No.
You see how they've traded places?
Yes.
So what happens when our people call themselves niggers? They're just saying that they're troglodyte monkeys. Now you understand why they call a nigger the beast?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then our people think they're niggers, and they turn around and call themselves niggers, so therefore the nigger codes apply to them, because they admit to it. You see the point? The European has traded places. Matter of fact, he always makes movies of trading places to even demonstrate it to our people, and they ain't caught on yet.
Like the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
sure did.
Yeah, not just that, with Martin Lawrence, with the Black Knight. He looks at his pen and says, what's this Moore thing?
Right, right.
And then with Will Smith, when he did Wild Wild West, and the guys in that spider thing when they went up on that ship, and he walked him to the door like he's going to push him out the door, and he says, "You look like you're a handsome black or more." Also, in Robin Hood with Morgan Freeman, they say, "What? The Moor knows all."
Yes.
Wow.
And Sidney Poitier, when he did what? The Bell. The long ships. You see the whole point? And even Sidney Porter's brother, Kenny, he's nationalized. He got an eel. They got over 24,000 people in the Oregon area studying. They've been studying for years.
Dang.
Look, Mariah and them, even though, Mariah, she named her her twins, Monroe and Morocco.
Oh,
even the
yeah,
pendants that I'm wearing, Fred and them brought that over from to me years ago. That came from Mariah and them's people. Everybody knows what are our people.
Right.
James Ingram, Peebo, a lot of people are national. They can't come out just talking blunt. Most deaf. A lot of people are nationals just because people attack them.
Yeah.
Right.
But everybody knows. But the deal of it is we need to get this information to our common people and stop this bull that's going in our communities, and stop the bleeding, stop the economic bleeding.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to teach our people but us. But what they have to do, and it makes them uncomfortable, and I know it's kind of hard for them, but they're going to have to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. They just don't want to do it, but they're going to have to do it if they want to save themselves.
Yes, sir. We need our own institutions.
You better believe we fund all these other institutions that have never done us any good, don't we?
Yeah, and they're not going to teach us nothing at those institutions. We need to form our own.
Because it's not in their interest.
Not
And
at all.
another point of information that may be helpful to some of your listeners, but I know many of them are scholars. Just as an example, what would occur with most of our people if you ask them, give them a brief history of the Niagara movement? Most of them wouldn't even know what you're talking about, would they?
Nope.
Not at all.
But the Niagara movement is where they murdered a lot of our women and cut their heads off and threw it over the Niagara Falls because they had a riot up there because we've been meditating by them Great Lakes, which are actually man-made for thousands of years. And they took over the Niagara movement, murdered a lot of women, threw their heads over the Niagara Falls, called the Nigger Falls, etc. And then they put 2 Europeans in charge of it. And made sure in the charter that they could never own property. You know what the name of that Niagara movement is today?
What?
It's called the NAACP. See how much our people don't know about their own history?
There you go.
Wow.
Do you understand? And yet they fund it, don't they?
Wow.
Ouch. That
Yet
one
they
hit.
fund it, don't they?
Yeah.
And don't even know that their leaders are sellouts. You see the problem?
Wow.
Big problem.
Lots of problems.
So why
And
now?
you tell them they're Moors, and they look at you cockeyed like you just talking devil. Oh,
Right.
you're talking devil stuff. It's the devil and all that stuff.
Wow. So. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on our show today, Taj.
It's been an honor, Taj.
We really appreciate your presence.
We do it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
We look forward.
Taj, would you like to leave your information?
We can reach you. We can leave information where we can reach you, or where you might be next, or where we can get some more of this knowledge.
Or what you're up to.
But basically, I'll be in Harlem at the theater tomorrow, at 5th and 125th, and we do that every Wednesday. But I have a lot of other venues, and much of the others you can get from Sabir, and he'll give it to you.
Okay.
Anyway, but we must do this again.
Yes,
and
sir.
do a little bit of research. And what I'm going to do, text me and give me a location, and I'm gonna mail you some information and everything, give you something to work with.
Okay.
And then when we talk again, you'll have some background and make sure that the listeners and remember, and say this to all of them. This is what I always say: don't accept anything that I've told you. Go do some research and prove me wrong, and you'll be coming back teaching me more stuff, and we'll teach each other.
That's how we build. That's how we build.
Thank you very much,
Taj.
Taj.
Thanks again, brother. Thanks again.
Taj.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
And love.
We'll see you next
Peace and
time.
love.
That was heavy. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and come back and wrap up the Sabir Bey Show with Hallelujah.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
We'll be right back.
Hallelujah,
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, y'all. It's the Sabir Bey Show. It's going down each and every Tuesday from 3 to 5.
Hallelujah. Sweet black Jesus. Matthew 6:33. Read and believe in the book. Hallelujah. 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 Prophet Black Jesus.
Has you been baptized? Has you been baptized? Has you been baptized? Has you been redeemed? Has you been redeemed? Has you been redeemed? Let the fish fry proceed.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Do you suffer from degenerative diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, fibroid tumors, high cholesterol, genital herpes, or a plethora of other diseases that rob you of a quality life? If so, then visit the website of herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra at dhealthstore.com and open the door to natural healing at an affordable price. dhealthstore.com has over 1,800 products created by herbalist Tahuti Ma'atra, specifically designed to help you heal the natural and safe way. At dhealthstore.com, you'll find everything from herbal formulas and cleanses, such as Tahuti's famous full body detox, as well as herbal teas, extracts, natural body butters, lotions, creams, children's products, hair care products, and of course, sexual enhancement products for both men and women. So visit the website of Tahuti Ma'atra, dhealthstore.com, or call toll free at 1-888-823-9416, dhealthstore.com.
People, it's Jennifer Tapier from StarCam. You guys might know me from the red carpet, catching up with all the stars, but guess what? We're bringing the red carpet to the radio right out here on LA Talk Live. I'm going live Thursday nights at 6 p.m. We got hot topics, celebrities, and much more. We were featured on Chloe Lamar on E!, Howard Stern, T.I.'s Family Hustle. You know how we do. So check it out on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. All things Hollywood, everything celebrity. StarCam Radio?
StarCam Radio? StarCam Radio!
Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter at StarCam Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's your girls,
Forbidden Gems, inviting you to join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the hottest, livest talk show, Forbidden Tuesdays.
Join us as we expose the new generation of love and dating and help y'all run the game right. Ladies beware, fellas bring out your notepads.
So don't forget to tune in to
Forbidden Tuesdays
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. This is
LA Talk Live,
and we are more than just talk.
You ready?
3, 4.
We are back.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And guess who walked
special
in
guest.
the door?
Special guest.
All late. Last minute.
Oh, never late, always on time.
Yes.
Trust me, I was getting texts and tweets, and I was getting everything, man. I'm in the studio in a trailer with Chico. I'm like, yo, they say, Sabir, I can't call in, man. What's going on? They're not picking up the phone. I'm like, brother, I can't do nothing. I'm on.
We heard it.
You know,
we heard the phone ringing.
Yo,
we
but
not in control.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I know if when I have Taj on, it's going to be bananas. Is Taj still there?
No.
Taj. Taj. Brother Taj, you there? Taj, are you there?
You sound muffled.
Taj, you sound muffled. Get that sandwich out your mouth, man. Get that peanut butter sandwich out your mouth, Taj. What's going on, man?
Islam, bro.
Islam, I just walked in the room, man. They told me, you was putting it down. I hope a lot of Moors out there heard this show and actually repeat it so they can stop going back and forth with this. And I got in kind of late, but it is what it is. I mean, I was at Paramount Studios actually on this TV setup there called Haunted
I told him, I gave him something to do a little bit of research, and I said, we'll do it again.
Everybody.
Give him
some
more reference points.
Yeah, well, with Taj, what we doing? We work. This is just the beginning, man. I had a meeting the other day, so we're gonna be doing another show somewhere else. It's gonna be a lot of stuff jumping, brother. So it's gonna be hot.
The classes.
This is LA Talk Live is home, but it's like we gotta expand this. And even when I was at that Paramount Studios, man, it was like, yo, we gotta go to a whole nother level with it. It's like I know they was gonna hold their ground. I know. I'm like,
We
had
tried.
everybody there. And I said, Taj is there. He's going to guide it. I'm making phone calls last minute. Alberto, yo, dude, you going to got that? Haze, you got it down. I'm like,
yeah, they did a pro job.
that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
You know, see, they don't need me here all the time. I got other
They
things
got
to
it
do.
covered. They got it covered then some.
That's what's up, man. But I'm glad they enjoyed themselves, man. I'm really
Very much.
I'm glad they enjoyed themselves and they held it down. I know there's a lot of people that was trying to call in, but y'all can go back, repost, look this up. Everything that we say here, and it's the Moorish Divine National Movement. What we do, we want you to research it yourself.
Please,
Right.
please do.
So we, we don't have time for the bickering, the division, and all that. We got to get things together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause the major thing that we have to do, we already know the schisms exist, but the schism is part of COINTELPRO operations. And so the people need to know that the people aren't divided just because they're divided. They're divided because they're infiltrated. And that you have people amongst them that are promoting the division consciously while getting paid in the background.
That's what's
But
up.
once they begin to look at the FBI papers and they start looking at world history, they will know it for themselves, and then they themselves will do what is necessary to counteract what is being done to them.
Hey,
But
Taj,
as
we only
it
got
stands, they think it's just division, that the people are divided, but the people lack knowledge. That's why they're divided.
That's what's up. Taj, we got 1 minute left, brother, but I want to thank you. I want to thank Krysten for sitting in, man, hosting. She's in the host seat right now.
Thank you.
Ray,
Right on.
Yes.
Alberto, my DJ Haze, man. Yo, y'all, if y'all in LA, yo, check us out on Saturday. Dr. Leonard Jeffries will be at Karash Unity Center.
Yes.
If you're not familiar with Karash Unity Center, go to my page, Sabir Bay page. Actually, the flyer's up there. Karash Unity Center this Saturday, May the 4th. Come on out. Yo, history's in the making. So,
Word up.
and also,
You
if
heard
you're
it
looking
here.
for this DVD, we just finished. Actually, Alberto tried to get mine.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Booker T. Coleman and I, we just did. We have this. Hit me on Facebook on my page, Sabir Bay. So, Taj, I want to thank you, man.
Thank you,
Right on,
Taj.
good brother.
I got to run back up to Paramount Studios,
Again-
man, so I'm out of here. In a
Again,
minute.
all the family, do all the family greetings for me, everything,
Yes, sir.
hit them up for me, we like that.
That's right. We'll be actually,
All right.
we doing it again. So I want to thank you. I got to make tracks
Right
back
on.
up here, man.
Okay.
You coming
All
back,
right.
Todd? This is you know where I go. You going with me, right? So we're
Right
here.
on.
That's what's up. Thank you, Todd. And tell Sister Roz
All
and
right, peace
Riot.
and love.
Tell
Peace.
Sister Roz and the whole team. I said, I love you, and LA loves you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace.
Right on, peace.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Yo, go, Chris. Oh.
Oh,
Say
bye.
goodbye. I
thought
I
it was
said
gone.
Say
peace.
goodbye.
I thought we were out of here.
Oh,
All right.
Oh.
Come on, let's go.
Yes.
Hey, Krysten Littles, you can catch me on Facebook, thecosmoreport.com, and The Cosmo Report on Facebook.
Word up. Ray Stone on Facebook. Eat Like You Give a Damn is the page. Join the book page, and I'll get at you soon. Peace.
You catch me here or with Sabir?
Hey, reach out for me on Facebook. That's about it. Peace and love. Till next time. Haze.
Yeah, y'all already know the world famous Zulu King DJ Haze, Universal Zulu Nation. You can find me. I'm everywhere.
Yes, he is.
Google me.
I told y'all this is the only place you're gonna get real pure edutainment. The Sabir
Word
Bey
up.
Show.
Yeah.
It's going down. Peace.
Thank you, Rich.
Whoa.
You know, like when I make love to a woman, can you handle it? Sometimes I get emotionally involved and I start breathing real loud and please check this out. Like this, like this, check it out.
Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. You're tuned in to LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk.